So welcome back everyone. Prince have asked me a question why we are not using constructor to create this particular object, homepage object. Instead, I am directly creating it here instead of creating it here. So as I mentioned, if I create something like this, okay, login page, and if I try to create something like this, right? Private homepage, and here I can basically do homepage equal to new homepage. Okay, I can do this, and then instead of new homepage I can directly return this particular homepage instance. I can do this, but the problem is whenever you have something into a class, it means the login page has homepage. Okay, is this true here? Does your login page having homepage?
Yes.
Yes, is it?
No,
No, right? If you
no.
go to the application, your login page doesn't have any homepage, correct?
Yes.
No, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. So that's the reason we cannot do this. Okay, this composition principle. So when you are using inheritance, okay, that has to be a easier relationship. What Sarita has asked me, hey Amudan, you could have written the Selenium utils, okay, this particular code inside the base page, right? You would have created a base page and then done that. Let's say whenever you are trying to use an inheritance, okay, if I create a page called as base page, everything will be fine. But all the methods that I'm going to create is not really related to pages. Okay, if it is related to pages I can keep it there, but this is related to Selenium actions, right? Selenium utils, these are all the events that has very less related to uh, the particular classes, subclasses. For example, you have dog, animal, you have clad gas, all that we saw, right? So if I keep some method in my animal class, it has to be common for all the classes. Okay, and most importantly that has to be related to the animal and the child class itself. For here, this click, send keys, all these methods are really not relevant to the page methods. Okay, um, if you go to the page methods, let's say this is a method related to page. Okay, this is a method related to page, but clicking send keys is not something that the pages owns. Okay, it is something that is separate. Okay, so that's the reason we have not created created a base page and put all these click methods there. Okay, we should not try to use inheritance just because we want to do code reusability. Okay, code reusability can come anywhere. Okay, but inheritance should not be there. Okay, inheritance should be only when it satisfy is a principle. Okay, is a principle, and that is really relevant methods that you want to reuse. Okay, good. Only at that point of time we can use uh, inheritance relationship. For now I don't see any similarities, so we will not do the user relationship here. Okay, we will not use inheritance here. Good. Any other doubts?
Yeah,
Otherwise
Amadan, this
yeah.
is Vasu.
Okay.
Actually, in my company,
Mm-hmm.
they are following the page object model, what you said, the same only. But
Mm-hmm.
they entire that project, they are not implemented inheritance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what people don't prefer inheritance. Instead they prefer composition. That's one of the coding principle. Okay.
They written they used nested classes.
Nested classes are too much of pain, man. Okay, that's not really good. Okay, nested classes is really confusing. It will spoil your readability and a lot of other things. Okay, so different people have different coding style. Okay, there is no right, no wrong. Okay, if you're
Okay.
if other people are coding that way, you can code it. But a real, if you want to learn a good coding, okay, maybe follow this. Okay, because I have used all that, but it has its own problems. Okay, nested classes spoils your readability. You need to understand what is inner classes. Okay, static inner classes and all that. It's very complicated. Don't go there now. Okay, just you are starting with the basics. Do the basics right. You will learn the advanced topic at the later point of time. Okay, there is one principle called KISS in framework development, or in development. What it means is keep it simple and stupid. Okay, don't try to complicate things. Keep it simple and stupid so that everyone can understand. Okay, our code is simple. Okay, So anyone can understand this code. That's very important. Okay, it's not like I have to showcase all my Java knowledge here in my framework. It's not like that. Only if there is a necessity we will do it. Okay, good. Let's get into this class straightly. I think we have already spoken about this for some time. So now what we do, first thing, uh, you know yesterday we have created a method in Selenium utils class, right? So let's go to the Selenium utils, and if you notice, we are writing some if conditions here. But there is one problem here. Okay, let's say I want to use, I want to go to the login page. Instead of clickable, let's say somebody is making a spelling mistake and then they are telling click. Okay, they are telling, okay, you wait for the element to be clickable and then you click on it. Or they are telling presence. Okay, presence. Okay, instead of present. Okay, let's go to the, let's close the left tabs. Okay, and then let's also close these unnecessary tabs. Okay, now if they give presence, what happens? Okay, it will not match this condition because it will exactly match for present. Okay, this guy is passing me presence, so it will not match. It will not match here. So what will happen? So element is initialized with null, so it will try to click on a element that is null. So what happens? It throws a null pointer exception, just because he doesn't know what is the spelling for this particular thing. Okay, so there is something called concept called as enums in Java, which is like a fixed set of constants. Okay, if you have a set of constants that you want to maintain, let's say weeks of let's say days of week. Days of week is always constant. It's a set of constant values, right? So from Sunday to Saturday, right? It's a set of values, correct? So if you have something like this, here also we have set of values. Okay, we have present. Okay, we have clickable. Maybe I want to add something more. Maybe I also want to wait for stale element reference exception. So something like this. Okay, so some vague reasons. But for now, I have only two set of fixed values. Okay, then I can also use enums. Okay, so what is this is, let's open a new package. Okay, enums, and I'll give a new class, and the class name is basically, let's say, a weight strategy. I'll use or weight type. Okay, and this is not a class. So guys, we have created class, we have created interface before, but enum is something new for us, right? But we are going to create that. And what you need to do is, what are the two values that you are going to use, that you have to put it here. So that is presence, comma, uh, clickable, right? For now, these are the two values. Okay, even though you can put it in small letters. Okay, even though you can use small letters here, but the convention, good coding convention says you need to keep all the um, enums values in capital letters. Okay, clickable. Okay, if you want to maintain Sunday to Saturday, you have to keep Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Again, you can write it in different line, same line as well, and then end it with semicolon. But yeah, it's up to you how you want to write it, but I prefer to write it in different lines so that it's easily understandable. Now, what is enum? Enum is a set of constants. Okay, constants. Okay, if you want to maintain a set of constants, then you can use this. Okay, now instead of, let's go and make few changes here. Okay, first change is, instead of accepting this as a string, okay, I'm going to accept this as a weight type. Okay, so string is a class, same way weight type is also similar to class. Okay, so I'm going to accept a weight type. Okay, weight type. Okay, now I'll remove this, and let's go there. And here, instead of, you cannot pass a string here. Okay, you have to pass weight type. Okay, so if I have to pass weight type, I need to type weight type. Okay, if you put a dot, now it is hard coded with these values. You have to either use this or use this. There is no other way. Okay, so you have to choose from the list of options. Suppose, let's say you have days of week, then it will only show you Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all that. So you cannot choose something out from here. Okay, it's like our mom prepares idli, dosa, and they give you only the option to choose from this, not from anything else. Okay, now somebody cannot make a spelling mistake. Now he is just mentioning I want to wait for the presence. That's it. So now he cannot make a spelling mistake. Okay, let's go there. And here I have the wait type. Okay, now if it is a string, I can use directly equals ignore case. But if something is enum type, okay, enum type, then I can convert it to a string. Okay, let's say wait type dot. Okay, if you notice, values there, values is there, class is there, value of is there. Okay, so there are a lot of things like this. Okay, now I want to make a comparison of let's say this wait type. Okay, so what I can do, if whatever the wait type they are passing, okay, is equal to wait type dot presence. If it is equal to this presence, then I need to tell element equal to wait for element to be present, and then I can pass the byte. Okay, and the same way, else if and wait type equal to wait type dot clickable, then I can basically say element equal to wait until clickable, and I'll pass the byte. Right now, if even tomorrow you want to add a new strategy, okay, what you can do, you can go here and then you can tell, let's say you want to wait for something else. Okay, maybe a presence clickable visibility. Okay, visibility. Okay, I can have like this. Okay, and I can come here and then I can just add else if wait type equal to okay, wait type dot, this is visible, right? And I can write some logic here, and I can write elements equal to some logic. Okay, some logic here, or I can create a method for visibility and then put it here. Okay, but for now I'll just tell elements equal to, let's say, null. Okay, for now I don't implemented this, but yeah, you can basically create one more method for the wait until element to be visible, and then you can add it. Okay, or maybe we will do it, why we want to leave it. Okay, let's copy this, paste it here, and then to be visible, right? And visibility of element locator. Okay, that's it. Now you can call vis- element to be visible, right? Good. So now everything looks absolutely fine, right? Now he cannot pass a invalid value, that is not even possible. So this null pointer exception will not even happen. Okay, so this is a very simple way that we can basically mm, use enums into our selenium automation framework. Okay, there are a lot about enums, but this is a very good way to get started with. Now we have seen this, we have seen that, but we need a report, right? Without report it looks very very awkward. We don't have any reports. Even if you run test, we cannot show it to anyone. Okay, and then I'm doing unused imports, I'm removing them. This is not needed because we have added it to demonstrate. So now our code looks much clean, right? Good. So now what I am going to do, I want to integrate with the report. Okay, if you notice, I have already we have already covered external reports, and this is the set of code that we have written, right? So let me copy this code. This is the code which we actually created. Again, I will remove these classes. Okay, that is we have created uh, for explanation. Static reports remove. Let's go to the base test and let's add these. Okay, and let's also import this. Okay, and in the before method we also need to tell login. Okay, this is how we have created reports, right? That I hope you all know, you don't forget what we learned before. This is coming from your reflections. Good, this is fine. But the problem is, as I already mentioned, this is a class that is responsible for doing test cases related stuff, right? We should not keep anything here. So what we should do, we should move this code to a separate place. That's what we are doing all these days, right? So let's create a package For let's say I want to create a package called as reports, and inside reports I want to create a class called as extend report. Okay, and then extend report. Okay, it's fine. And we need to move those classes from there to here. Okay, this class is going to be very similar to your driver class. Okay, this class is going to be very similar to this driver class. Okay, we're going to have something static methods like this and all that. Let's go there and let's create public static void init. There we have init a driver, we have init reports here. Now I'll also make this class as final, so no one can extend this, and they'll also make this as private so that nobody creates an object outside of this class. Good. And here I want to initialize the reports, so we have the code here. Let's cut it and let's put it here. Okay, and then let's go to the base test. Let's cut it and let's put it here. Okay, okay, now let's go there and let's copy this, or let's cut this and let's create one more method, uh, public static void flush reports, and then let's put it here. And let's also create okay, let it be this one here. Okay, we will try to optimize this. Let's put a comment here and let's go there. And it is causing s- some problems here. Okay, maybe I need to add static because we have a static method here. Okay, you can, with static method you can only access static variables. Okay, so I'll keep it as a static. Okay, now, so the first thing is we have moved the code, we have everything ready. Let's see. Yeah, so we have everything ready, but the thing is, again, we are hard coding this report path. Okay, so this should not be hard coded because in future if you want to change it, we cannot come and change it in this place. Okay, we don't have to search for it. So where we need to keep these kind of constants, there are two ways. One is you can keep it here, but I would recommend don't keep it in the property file, because only keep something in the property file if it is okay, if it needs to be changed often often and by manual testers or product owners. Okay, so if your product owner is running your test or your manual test is running, they want to change the URL. Suppose they want to run it in different environment, they can put it here, right? They can add dev hyphen this. If you want to run it in different browser, they can come and change it here. Okay, but this thing, the report endpoint, it is something that they don't want to touch, because if they touch it here, it might have different impacts. Okay, so we don't want to give them the access. So what we can do, we can put it in a class inside Java itself. So let's go and create a folder called as constants, and inside that I'll create something called as framework constants class. And this particular class will also be a final class. It'll also have private framework constants, and here I'll have a private uh, sorry, I'll keep it as a public for now, public static string, and this string name is basically report path, right? Report path equal to whatever the report path we have, we'll cut it. Okay, this is the report path. Control X, and let's go there, put it here. Okay, now as I already mentioned, this thread is common for everyone. This value is common for all the threads, so that we have kept static, and this is a final value, so we don't want someone to change this after that. Okay, so we'll keep it as a final. If it is a final, then the convention is report underscore path. Okay, now let's go there, and then I can simply tell the class name, that is framework constants dot report path. Okay, now this is not hard coded. If you want to change it, you can change it from you know here itself. Okay, that's very important. Good. Again, this is a a variable, we are accessing it differently. Maybe you can also keep it as a private and expose a getter method in order to access this, right? So we will keep this as a private, and then we will create a getter method for this. So public, this is a static method that's going to return string get report path. Okay, somebody is telling get report path, I'm going to return this report path, right? Okay. And then let's go there. Instead of this, get report path. Okay, now tomorrow if there is any changes, you want to do some operations, then you can basically write the logic here. Okay, you can write if, okay, this is whatever the logic you want to write, you can write it here. Okay, very simple. Or you can also make it as a public and use it, because you are not going to change or implement any logic in the getter method. So it's up to you whether you want to keep it as a variable and supply, or as a method and supply. Okay, that's all good. Now we have removed the hard coding. Now what else? Now this login test is not even used. Okay, notice we need to access this login test here. In the base test, we need to create a method and all that, right? Let's also move this code, and let's get in here, and then let's public static void create test. Okay, if somebody is passing me string test case name, okay, if they pass me test case name or test case name, if somebody is passing me a test case name, I will just say test case name. Okay, that's it. So this now looks much neat, but there is one problem, that this particular login test is not thread safe. This is similar to your driver, right? As I mentioned, this is similar to your driver. This is not thread safe. If you run this in parallel, this won't work properly. So for that, what we need to do, if your driver is not thread safe, what we did, we created a separate class called as driver manager, and we used thread local, right, to store the values to get and set. Same way here also we are going to do that. Okay, in the reports, let's go and create one more class that's called as extend manager, because we are going to manage extend reports, right? So we will tell extend manager, and let's also keep this class as final private extend manager. And guys, this class is going to be very similar to a driver manager class. Okay, so we can basically copy it, and let's go to the extend manager. We can save some time typing whole stuff. Okay, instead of web driver, here what we're going to store, we're going to store extend test type, right? So let's copy this, and let's go here, paste it. Same way, we're going to return me this. If you want to set something, you want to set something like this, test get test maybe, or get extent, something like this. Okay, and here also I need to change it to test. Okay, so if someone wants to set a value, they need to call this set extent test, and they have to pass the extent test. That's fine. Then if they want the get extend test, they need to call get extend test. Okay, you can name it as get extend test as well, and we're going to return from the thread local, we're going to call get method, and then we're going to return it. Okay, very simple. The only change that we did is, instead of storing web driver, we replace the web driver with extend test. That's it, everything is that. And then we just change the method names, nothing else changed. Okay, now once you do this, this becomes thread safe. Okay, so let's do it. Let's go here. So first, let's go here, and then in the before suite, I need to make a call to extend report dot uh, init reports. First, I need to call this before all the tests getting executed. It's fine. Once all the tests getting after completion, we need to call the flush reports. This is fine. So we have moved the code there, but we are making the call from the this particular before suite and after suite. And before method, I need to call extend report. Before every test method getting started, we need to call create test, and then we need to pass the method. Okay, so whatever the name of the test class, test case, we need to pass it to this method, so that it creates a node in the that particular extend report. Okay, now let's try to run it and then check whether this whole thing is working or not. Okay, that's very important, right? We have implemented reports. Let's try to check it whether it's working. Sorry guys, my report, my Chrome browser is not, I'm not able to drag it from the other window. I don't know why, but the test is getting passed. Okay, so I cannot drag it from that monitor to this. So there was some issues, but yeah, the test getting passed, right? And if you want to run, check this whole thing in parallel, we can also do that. But before that, we will check whether the report is getting generated or not. Just reload this whole stuff. Okay, we could not see the reports. Okay, there is a report here, index.html. Let's try to uh, basically open in browser, Chrome browser. If you notice, we have title validation test. This is the name of our test case, right? So we have basically created it, but we haven't logged anything. Okay, so that's the reason it is not logged. So we will log each of the statements that we are doing, and then we'll also take screenshot for them, right? Good. Now, first step is done. So this is done. Let's go and write some logs. Okay, go to the login page, and then let's try to write some logs. Okay, let's say after entering the username, we want to tell, hey, I have entered the username. Then what you need to do, you need to go to the extend manager, you need to get this test, and then you need to use log. Okay, let's go here to the login page, and then you can tell extend test dot, sorry, extend manager dot get extend test dot log. Or you can tell, if you want to mark it as a pass, you can tell pass, can tell username is uh, entered successfully. You can write your logs like this. Okay, and the same way you can copy this, and then for password again you can set it and then just change it to password. Okay, and then you can here again, after clicking on this successfully, you can just tell uh, login is clicked successfully. Okay, something like this. So you can write all these logs on all these methods. Okay, but we can optimize this as well, right? So for example, let's say again guys, one important thing is, don't write your logging statements in your test. Okay, you could have written this here. Okay, you could have written this in this particular place. Okay, I could have written something like, after this I could have taken a break and did all that. So don't do the logging statements in your test. If you do this, your test will become not readable. Okay, so always do your logging, if you're logging something to the report, if you're using log4j and all that, do it in the page layers. Okay, don't ever do it in the test. Your test should be very readable. No one should corrupt it. Okay, that's very important. Okay, now we told our manual testers or other so let's say you are a lead and you told all your fellow mates, hey guys, don't use any other things, use just pass method. But there are people who always don't listen to your orders, right? What they will do, they will go and then they will try to explore a lot of methods. Okay, okay, this is having something like assign author. Okay, let me try to assign author here. Or they will do, what is this create node, let me try it. Okay, what is this create node? Okay, but basically this create node is for cucumber. If you are using cucumber with selenium, then you can use all that. But here this is not even relevant. Okay, but these guys will not hear us. What they will do, they will go, they will use this. Okay, they will use something like this. So that will mess up your code, and then it will spoil your coding practice. Okay, this is something that you don't want to expose to them. Okay, if you expose this, there are a lot of methods. They will go and do all this nonsense. Okay, we cannot control them. That's why we have the power to control them with the help of code. Okay, let's do it. So what I'm going to do is, basically I open the reports. Okay, so our ultimate goal is, we should not expose a lot of methods. Okay, we should only give them reasonable methods for others to use. We should not give them all the methods to be used. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new class here, that is extend logger. Okay, and this logger is going to be final and it also going to have static methods. So there is no reason I have to expose my constructor. So I will have the first method, public static void pass. And if somebody is passing me a message, all I do is I will just log into the get extend test dot pass. If somebody wants to pass a message as pass, we will pass it. That's it. Okay. Then if you want to mark something as a fail, void fail. Okay, if there is something called fail, if somebody is passing me a message for failure, okay, I will just log it. That's it. Okay. So copy this and then paste it. Instead of pass, we will call fail method. Okay. And what else we want? Okay, we want to also mark info. Okay, so let's say somebody wants to pass some info. It is neither pass nor failure. Okay, it's just an information message. So they will call the info method. So these methods, three methods alone is enough for them. They don't want to use anything else. Okay. Now let's go to the login page and we will tell them, hey guys, uh, don't use this. Instead, use something like extend logger dot pass. Okay, that's it. Now, if they type extend logger, they cannot get any of the other options apart from pass, fail, and all that. So extend logger. Okay, and here also instead of this, we can just tell extend logger dot info. Let's say I want to mark this as an info, then I can tell login button is clicked successfully. Okay, this is fine, right? But again, we are still exposing. They can still go ahead, even though we're telling they can still go ahead and then go to extend manager, got it, get extend test and all that they can again do. But we want to hide this. We don't want to even give this option to them. Then let's go to the extend manager. So this extend manager, if they only have access to get extend test, they can do all this thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this extend test from here. So what happens then? It'll get an access modifier of default access modifier, right? If it's a default active access modifier, it can be only accessed within the package. So the extend logger or the extend report can only access it. The same way, I don't want to give this permission to everyone. Okay, I will remove that because if they suddenly set some values without our notice, then it will be a problem. So we will remove this. Okay, so nobody else can access this apart from the extend logger guys and the extend report. Okay, that is very cool, right? So now if you go to the login page and then type extend manager, they will be not getting any options to access this. So this is right clean code, right? We are controlling what our others needs to code. We are controlling how they want to code. Okay, because they don't want to make many mistakes. Okay, we cannot go and review all these things. Okay, if you create a good quality code yourself, then it can be easily managed. Okay, no, I have just played around with some really basic stuff. Okay, I don't build anything very complex. I just removed the public access modifier. So that's the power what an access modifier can bring. So that's the basics. You need to be very sound with your basics so that you can write a good quality code, right? And if you notice, we have also concealed a lot of methods and we have only given them three methods. If you want anything to be logged, use these three methods and log it. Don't use, you cannot even try to use anything else, okay? Because you don't know how to do that, right? That's very important. Good. Now, also if you notice this clicking, the set password, login and all, we are using everywhere. So clicking and send keys is something that we use everywhere. So we already have a method for that. So we go to Selenium utils, we have a method for this. So what I can tell, maybe I can write this logging statement here, extend logger dot pass. So if somebody, instead of just passing by, if they also pass me message, okay, then I can basically use that to pass. Okay, okay, that's it. Now here also it is showing some error. Okay, maybe here element dot click, and yeah, wherever you are using just by, I also get the message to be logged. Okay, or you can just tell instead of message just to get the element name. If you just want the element name, right? If you have the element name, you can just tell element name plus is clicked successfully. They don't have to type whole thing. You just pass me the element name. I will take care of logging it in the report. Same way, here also you just pass me the element name. What I will do after entering into the thing, so I can just tell extend logger dot log. So I can just tell pass and value, whatever the value that they passed is entered successfully in element. What are the element? So what are the value they passed is entered successfully in the element, right? Very good. Now we need to go and alter this whole code. So let's go to the login page, and instead of just passing send user and the username, you also need to pass let's say the name of the element. So the name of the element is basically user name. Okay, good. In the same way, send keys, instead of just telling this password, right? This is a password field. We can tell password field, and here login button. Instead of this, I can just tell, can remove this. Okay, we don't need them at all. This will be logged automatically. You don't have to do any efforts. So after clicking on it, doing all that, so maybe I'm using the enum type here. Maybe I can just pass, um, let's say login button. Login button is clicked successfully. Okay. The same way I can go to the home page and then I can make the changes. Home page, and here also, I can go to this. Okay, and here I can just tell um, PIM module. Okay, whatever, or whatever the menu they are passing is clicked. Okay, whatever the menu they will pass, they will be clicked. Okay, very simple things. Okay, very simple, guys. Now we have created this ready. Now every time you create something, you just use the reusable method. It will not only do the send keys, it will also log it in the external report for you. Okay, this looks fine. This looks fine. Selenium utils class also looking fine. Let's try to run and confirm. Okay, let's run it. Browser is opening. Oh my god, I cannot drag it. I don't know why. Okay, this is failing now. That's good for us. Let's go and see where it's failing. Okay, it is failing when we are doing get extend test. Okay, I could understand what is the failure, because let's go to the extend report class. So once we created the reports, right? Once we created the extend test, we need to set this to the thread local. The same thing we have done here, right? Once we got the driver, first we need to set it to the thread local, then only we can get it. But here we forgot to set it. So that's the reason it is throwing error. So first let's go here. Once you create the login, whatever the extend test object that you want, after that, I need to tell extend manager dot set extend test, and whatever the test I have, I can just, I think I should name this better. So shift and F6. This is basically extend test. Okay. Whatever the extend test I have created, I just pass it to this method. That's it. So now this will be set to thread local. Whenever we want to get the values, we will call extend manager dot get extend test. Okay. Good. Everything looks fine now. Again, we will try to run it. Again, guys, based on the error, you should be in a position to understand how to debug it, how to fix it. Okay. I don't know why this is not this is always opening in my other. I cannot drag it. That's the problem here. I cannot drag it. Okay, just adjust, guys. Okay, the test is running. If you don't believe me, it is. If you notice, this test is passed. And let's go here and let's also check the index.html. Let's open this in Chrome. If you notice, admin is entered successfully in username. Admin 123 is, maybe we need to give some space here, is clicked successfully. Okay, so let's also do that. So test is getting passed. Let's go there, close this, Let's go to the Selenium utils and let's give some space here. Okay, let's give some space so that it's okay. And here also we'll give some space. That's it. Now everything looks fine. Now we also want to try to run the test in parallel so that it is, we'll also make sure that it's also working. So let's also remove this. Okay, and let's try to run the test. Okay, now I have given just one thread, so let's stop it. Let's stop it and then rerun it. Okay, guys, there is two browsers that is getting opened, but I don't know. Oh, I cannot drag it. So if you notice in the bottom of the screen, two of them is getting open. Ah, this is, I don't know why. Okay, but both the tests got passed now. If you go to the index.html again, just reload the page, and if you notice now this time we have two tests here. So what are the value we entered here? It's basically coming correctly, right? So yeah, you can also see total test pass, how many got passed and how many got failed and all that. Good. So now coming to Vasu's requirement. Okay, Vasu, do you want to implement screenshot for each steps?
Yes.
Re- Just pay the 500 rupees. Okay, don't forget. So we will do the screenshots now. Okay. So now there are different ways to take screenshot, as I already mentioned, but we are going to use the base 64 kind of taking screenshot, right? We have already explained how to take screenshot. Is it right?
Yes.
Yes, right. So good. Now let's also create a new class. Okay, screenshot utils. Okay, and inside the utils, and we have the class here. Okay, as usual, nobody wants to extend this. Again, guys, inheritance is really bad. Someone should not call this directly inherited and then directly call the take screenshot method. If they want, they have to access it properly. Okay, you should not give inheritance. We should not, let's say you have some wealth with you. Okay, you will not give it to someone just for that, right? So you need to have certain, it's a relationship, right? Good. So now you'll also have screenshot utils, and then I'll also create a method public void, let's return string get screenshot. Okay, now this is a get screenshot is a method, and now what I want to do, when you want to take a screenshot, we need to use take screenshot, right? And then you need to tell driver manager dot get driver. Okay, once you do this, I'll wrap all of these together. Dot get screenshot as, how do you want the screenshot? Output type dot base 64. Okay, that's it. Now what string return type, sorry guys, public static string. Okay, good. So now this will take care of taking the screenshot and returning me in the form of base 64 string. Okay, now once you have the base 64 string, what you can do, you can basically attach it in the report. So let's go here to the extend logger. So if you want to take screenshot, you have to tell extend manager dot get extend test dot. So if you notice, there is something called as media, right? Pause media and all that. So if you also notice, there is a overloader method called string details and then media. So which means you can use this method. So first it will log the message, and then it will also take log the screenshot. So for logging the screenshot, you need to tell media entity builder. Okay, this is the builder class they are using. Dot. Okay, now you have an option. Okay, create screenshot from base 64 screen. Okay, then here if you notice, create screen capture from base 64 string overloader method, but this is enough for us. Okay, now it is asking me pass me the base 64 string. Okay, base 64 string, where it is basically screenshot utils dot get screenshot, right? And at the end you need to tell dot build. Once you do this, okay, it'll log the message in the report, and then it will also take the screenshot. Okay, we don't need this anymore. Okay, the same way you can copy this. Okay, and then you can put fail. here you can put info, right? Now this not only will pass the message, it will also take the screenshot for each step, right? So whenever it is passing, whenever you are logging something to the report as pass, fail, or info, everything will be, it will take a screenshot and it will attach the screenshot also. Okay, let's try to run it. Again, the browser getting launched, but I cannot show it to you guys. I cannot drag and drop. I don't know why. It got stuck. Okay, one of the tests is passed. Another one is also passed. Let's go to the test.xml. Okay, let's go to the index.html. And yeah, now if you notice, for each step, it has taken the screenshot. Okay, you can just click on this image. It will show you the screenshot. For the second test also, it has taken screenshot. Okay, good. So this is how you can basically implement it. It's not a rocket science or something. It's just a index.html file. You can share it with anyone. Suppose if I want to share it with your manager, okay, you just go to this location, open in basically Finder in my machine. In your case, it can be Windows Explorer. Oh man, I cannot drag it. I don't know why. Okay, yeah, it's just a HTML file. You can just zip it and send it to them, or you can just send it in an email. Okay, it's a very very simple thing. Okay, good.
Yeah, Mundan, I have one question.
Okay.
Actually, this is one page okay, but
Mhm.
I have multiple functionalities are there. For
No
example,
problem.
in Orange HRM only, login is there. I may do admin. I may do
Whatever you do,
main.
for
Hmm.
everything it will take screenshot. What is your
Okay.
problem then?
Okay.
It'll have screenshot in terms of let's say for each test it'll have screenshot. Okay, so for example, let's say test title validation test, even you can give it to manual testers. Okay, they can just go and then validate all these things. Okay, so if you want to give it to product owners or UAT testers, you can give it to them. Hey, this is what we have tested in dev environment. If you want to have a reference, have it this. This is not in a Word document. This is an HTML document. That's the only difference. Okay, but this is more powerful. You can HTML is same. Okay, it can be opened in any browser. Okay, it's not like Word document. It's more readable, understandable, and then yeah, it's easily you can transfer
And
to other ones.
yeah, and one more thing. Actually, I have 100 tests are there. Let's assume
Hmm.
I will execute one by one only, not batch.
Hmm.
So that time, second time, if I execute this report will overwrite or what?
It will be overwritten. So you have to write your logic to create new reports.
Okay, okay.
How will you write it? You tell me.
With the help of timestamp.
Yes. So we are here. What we are doing? We are getting the report path. Okay.
Hmm.
Here, uh, it is now just giving you uh, directly this index.html is the same thing. So next time you are creating a report, it will override that. Either you need to transfer this to another location and then run it again, or you can basically append a screen, let's say you can append a timestamp here. Okay, there are ways you can generate a random string and then you can append it, or you can get a timestamp on today's date and then you can append it in between these two things. Okay, or in the HTML name you can append it. Okay, you try it and let me know. Again, if you
Yeah.
don't want screenshot for all the steps and only you want screenshot for the failed ones, then it is very easy. You can go here to the external logger and then you can remove this. Okay, and just to revert to the old ones, or you can create one more configuration here. Okay, in the resources config.properties, you can create something like uh, uh, take screenshot for past steps. Okay, for past steps. Okay, here you can get yes or no. If it is yes, okay, you can if you add something here, what you need to do, you need to go to the config and then you need to add the mapping here in the this one, and then you can write an if conditions again into the external logger. Here you can write some if condition and check whether they want the screenshot for pass the test. If it is yes, then only call this, else you can call the old method. Okay.
Okay.
So basically using this if conditions and all that, hereafter it's up to you to how you want, to customize the requirement, okay, based on your needs. Okay, every people
Okay.
will have their own different needs, so you have to customize based on your requirement. If conditions, how to where to add new, parameters, if all that, so you have to try it and then let me know if you have any issues. Okay.
Okay.
Good. So anything from anyone else, otherwise resume the recording. So what we are going to do now is, we will try to create an account in GitHub. Okay, and then we will try to use it. Okay, so let's say, now people want to create, so GitHub sign up. Okay, just search for this. Okay guys, there are multiple ways to share your code, right? One of the way is you go to the location where this folder is, and then you zip it, and then I put it in some G drive, or I can send it to an email, and then you unzip it and then extract into the IntelliJ again. But the problem is, while you are working, I cannot work. While I work, you cannot work, and then we don't know what we are doing. Okay, it's very very hard to maintain. Okay, if there are 10 people working on a project, we cannot wait for other 9 people to who zip it and send to us, and it's very very problematic, right? We cannot work like that. So now what is the only solution is Git. Okay, before I start with Git, let's do some basics. Okay, uh, no, let's go to search for GitHub sign up, and then just go here. Okay, for me, it is not showing the login. I already logged in, so it is showing me the login page. For you, it will just check for email address, password. Just give it and sign up. Once you do it, it will be taken into some page like this. Okay, even though you won't have the overview page like this, you will have something like this. Okay, and on top of it, you can just go here and create a new repository. Okay, now what we are going to do is, since Vasu has asked you, you need to share your repository, I'm going to share him the repository. Okay. For that, you need to have an account with GitHub that we have already created. Okay. Now we can go ahead and create a new repository, right? Let's create a new repository, and then let's name this as a Selenium framework, right? This is Selenium framework. And I have a lot of Selenium framework, so might be confusing because see, I have some other Selenium framework, which is already in my machine, because I have, I
Give
moved.
the date.
No, yeah, I will do that. That's not a problem. But the thing is, I have already, I was using a Windows machine. You all know. Now I moved to Mac. So what I did is I created a framework, Selenium framework repository here, and then I pushed my all my code. Okay. So if you notice, I will just search. If I want to search a repository, I can just search Selenium. Okay. If you notice, Selenium framework, and then this is a private. It might not be accessible to you, and I have created with November 2021 batch. Okay. So I have created something like this. Now what I will do, I will push the code today. Okay. What you have to do is, you need to go to your IntelliJ and all that, and then you need to import it in your workspace directly. So what you can do, you can go to Git, sorry, file, new, project from version control. You have to click this. Now it will ask you for the Git URL. Okay. If you ask you for the Git URL, just need to go. So I will share the repository with you guys. You need to click on this code, and then you need to copy it. Now this will have the uh, link where this framework is located. Okay, just copy it and then you put it here. Once you put it here, you can click on clone and then you will import it. But for now, since I already have this, maybe I will import a different repository. Okay, so let's go there, and then I'll try to import a different repository altogether. Let's say, let's go to the repositories. I'll just tell you how you need to import it. Okay, let's say my first Maven project. This is a project that we used to demonstrate and all, learn about all the stuff. Let's try to import it. It's not present in my Mac machine. So let's go here and click on this and paste it here. Just click on clone. That's it. It will ask you whether you want to trust this and then all that. Okay, I'll tell trust project. Now it is asking me whether you want to open in a new window or this window. I'll tell this window, which means it will close the current one and open it. So once you do this, it will automatically import all the dependencies, all the stuff. Okay, so you can basically see the project structure here. So it is now taking a little bit of time to import it. So now everything is basically ready for you. Okay, you have the code ready in your code base within 2 seconds. Okay, you're not doing anything. So all the code, this, if you remember, this is the code that we used to learn about inheritance and all that, right? The same code I have imported in a second. The same way, I'll push the code, whatever we have today. You all can go to my repository. I will share the link in the WhatsApp. You can pull the code and then import into your workspace like this. Okay, we will see how to do git commit, pushing and all tomorrow. But for now, just try to pull the code and then try to import it in your code base. Okay, now let's open recent. I'll go to the our original framework, and yeah, this is the original framework. I'll push the code, don't worry guys. I'll send the link of my GitHub in the WhatsApp. Okay, don't worry. So you can just import it from your from there. Okay,